Now let me show you how you can create your own grid system in the HTML template to make any element responsive for any viewport. So let me show you how you can do that. So I'm going to just open my index.html file, and inside it, in the main section, I'm going to simply create a demo elements. So I'm going to first create here a row class, and inside it I'm going to have my 12 columns. So as I said earlier, in the Bootstrap we have 12 column grid system. I'm going to do the same in this template as well. So I'm going to create 12 columns here as well, and I'm going to show you how you can make them responsive. So I'm going to simply create here my first column. So I'm going to say here col1. Then I'm going to duplicate this line and just change this column 1 to column 2. Then I'm going to just do the same, change this to column 3, and I'm going to create 12 columns here: 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I'm going to just change this to 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So these are the 12 columns of our grid system. I'm going to just specify here some text. So I'm going to just say here col1. I'm going to say col2. I'm going to specify here text col3. I'm going to do the same for the other columns as well. I'm going to say here 4. This became 5. This became 6. This became 7. This is column 8. This is column 9. This is going to be the 10th column. This is 11. And this is column number 12. Save all the changes. Now let me just toggle this window on the right side. So I'm going to just toggle this window on the right side. I'm going to just remove this background color. So I'm going to simply remove this background color from this body section. So I'm going to remove this property background. Save all the changes. And just out of that, you can notice we have 12 columns here. I'm going to just specify some border to it. In the grid system, I'm going to first simply specify some border to it. So I'm going to simply say here row, and inside it I'm going to have division tag. And to this division tag, I'm going to specify border 1 pixel solid black. Save all the changes. This will specify border to all these division tags like this. Now as you can see here, we have 12 columns here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put these columns inside the container. So I'm going to simply grab this row, cut it, and just put this row in the container tag. So I'm going to simply say here container, and inside it I'm going to paste this row like this. Save all the changes. Now you can notice we have these columns in the container. Now let me just open the inspect tool by pressing Ctrl+Shift+I. So this will just open the inspect tool, and now let me show you how you can make these columns responsive. But for now, let me just remove this navigation menu. So I'm going to just hide this navigation menu using this command. So I'm going to simply remove this closing command from here. So this will remove this navigation menu just for now, and I'm going to remove this closing command from here as well. So I'm going to just remove this navigation menu, and let me just explain how you can create your own grid system in HTML. So I'm going to first open my viewport, which is 1920, and just zoom this a little bit. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just open the grid system, and I'm going to first select my row class, and to this row I'm going to simply first specify display, which is flex. This will just align all these columns in the same row. Then flex direction, which is row, and specify here flex wrap, which is wrap. Save all the changes. So this property will wrap all these columns if the viewport is less than the column size. This property is very helpful. For example, if your container not able to fit all these 12 columns, this property will wrap these columns on the next line. So this will move this column to the next line and make it responsive. Now let me just show you how you can create both this property in very simple way. So I'm going to just get rid of both this property and simply say flex flow, and this is going to be row wrap. Save all the changes, you will get the same result here. Now just after that, I'm going to just specify width. It's going to be 100%, and height is going to be 100%. Now just after that, I'm going to just specify width and height to these columns. So I'm going to just simply select all these columns. So I'm going to select column 1, copy this class, paste it here, then select column 2, then I'm going to select column 3, select column 4, column 5, then select column 6, column 7, I'm going to select column 8, column 9, column 10, 11 and column 12. And to these columns I'm going to simply specify width, and the width is going to be 100%. Along with that I'm going to specify height, which is 100%, and don't forget to specify max width, which is 100%. Now what I want to just add some padding between these columns. So I'm going to simply specify here padding left 15 pixel and padding right 15 pixel. Save all the changes, and now you can notice we have 100% width to these columns and have some padding to it. Now what I want to count this padding and the border of the element in the content height and the width. So I'm going to do that with the simple border sizing property. So I'm going to first select all the elements, then specify comma here, then select all the before pseudo selectors, then I'm going to select all the after pseudo selectors, and I'm going to specify here box sizing is going to be border box. Save all the changes, and now this property will calculate this padding and its border as the width of this element. This is very important to add this property because I wanted to specify equal width to all these columns. So just out of these columns, what I'm going to do is I'm going to specify different width to all these columns. Now let me first explain what I'm going to do now. So as you can notice here, we have column 1. So the column 1, it means I want only one column on the single row. The column 2 means I want 2 columns on the single row. Column 3 means I want 3 columns on the single row. So I'm going to just specify different width to all these columns. So let me show you how you can do that. So let me just add here a command. Now in this command you can notice we have 12 columns here. Now I wanted to calculate the width of each column. I'm going to just simply use the calculation to specify different width to these columns. So I'm going to just use here column space is equal to column width divided by the space. So let me explain what is this formula. For example, let's say you want to specify space for this first column. So this column has 100% width. So if you just divide this first column by 12, you will get the width of the first column. The calc is a function in CSS. I'm going to just get the width of the column and divide this column by the number of columns. So as you can see here, I'm going to just divide this first column by 12. Because I have 12 column grid system, I'm going to divide this first column by 12. So when you divide this first column by 12, you're going to get your first column width. Let me show you with the example. So I'm going to just simply first select the first column. So I'm going to first select the row, then select the column 1. I'm going to use a simple flex basis property. So I'm going to say here flex, specify 0, 0, which is the default property for the flex, and then just call here a flex basis. So I'm going to just specify here calc, which is a CSS function, and using this calc function, I'm going to calculate the width of this first column. Now I'm going to just specify 100% width to this first column, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide this 100% by 12. So I'm going to just specify here / and say 12. So now what I'm going to do is I want to specify one column space to this first column. When I save the changes, this will just specify one column space to this first column. So if you just take a look at your container, if you just add this one column 12 times, you will get 12 column grid system. So at this point, I'm going to have a one column space to this column 1. Now just out of that, I'm going to just copy this class, paste it down here, change this column 1 to column 2, and I'm going to just divide this 100% width by 6. So this will just return the 2 column space for us. So I'm going to just save all the changes. So as you can see, we have 2 column space to this second div. I'm going to do the same for all these columns as well. So I'm going to just simply copy this class, paste it down here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just specify here 4 and just change this column to 3. Save all the changes. We have 3 column space to this column 3. Now just after that, I'm going to just copy this column, paste it down here, change this 4 to 3 like this, change this column to column 4, save all the changes, and you can notice we have 4 column space to this division tag. Now let me first explain why I had used here 3, 4, 6 and 12. For example, let's say I want to get the space for the first column. Then as you know, we have 12 column grid system. If I just divide this 12 by 12, I'm going to have the space for the first column. If I want to get the space for the second column, I'm going to just specify this 12 column grid system by 6. So this will just return the 2 column space for us. As simple as that. And just after that, I just use here 4 because we have 12 column grid system. If I just divide this 12 column by 4, you're going to get the result 3. So I'm going to use this space for the column number 3. Just after that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just copy this row, paste it down here, change this column to column number 5, and at this time I want to just open the calculator to divide these columns. So I'm going to just simply open my calculator. So I'm going to just see here calc. So as you can see, I have the calc here. So what I'm going to do is I just want to get the space for the 5th column. So I'm going to just simply say here I have 12 column grid system. If I divide it by 5, I'm going to have a result 2.4. So if I just specify here 2.4, I'm going to have the space for my 5th column. When I save the changes, you can notice I have 5 column space to this division tag. Do the same for your 6th column as well. Copy this class, paste it down here, change this class name to column 6, and what I want to specify 6 column space to this column 6 class. So I'm going to just specify here I have 12 column grid system. I want to get the 6 column space from this 12 column. So I'm going to just divide 12 by 6. I'm going to have 2 here. So if I just specify here 2, I'm going to have 6 column space to this division tag. Just out of that, copy this class, paste it down here, change this column to 7. And what I want to get 7 column space. So I'm going to just say here 12 divided by 7. I'm going to have this result. So I'm going to just simply specify this value instead of specifying this 2 here. So I'm going to just specify 1.7142857142857114. You need to specify all these values because if you want to get the exact result, you need to specify all these decibels as well. Save the changes, and when you save it, you can notice you have here 7 column space division tag. Just out of that, I want to get the 8 column space. So I'm going to just specify here column number 8. I'm going to say 12 divide by 8. I'm going to have 1.5. So I'm going to just specify that right here, 1.5. When I save the changes, this will specify 8 column space to this division tag. Then I'm going to do the same right here for the column number 9, and I'm going to just say here 12 divide by 9. I'm going to have this result. So I'm going to just simply specify this value right here like this. I'm going to create a column number 10, and I'm going to just say here 12 divide by 10, 1.2. I'm going to just say here 1.2. Then I'm going to create a column number 11. Then I'm going to just say here 12 divided by 11. I'm going to have this value. So I'm going to simply copy all this value and paste it here. Just out of that, I'm going to just create column number 12, which is the last column. So I'm going to just say column number 12, and I'm going to just say here if 12 divided by 12, I'm going to have 1 here. So I'm going to just specify here 1. Save all the changes. Now you can see we successfully created our grid system. Now let me just check this grid system. So let me just open my index file. So for example, let's say I want to create 3 columns on the same row. I'm going to just specify here 4, 4 and 4. So if you just calculate the column space, you're going to get 12 column space to this division tag. So as you can see, we have 3 columns on the same row. We have here first column, the second and the third. Now if I want to create 4 columns on the same row, I'm going to just say here column 3, and I'm going to just create here 4 columns. If we just calculate this number, 3 plus 3 equal to 6, 6 plus 3 equal to 9, and 9 plus 3 equal to 12. Then we have here 12 column grid system. Save all the changes. You can notice we have 4 columns on the same row. We have this first column, this second, third and this fourth. As simple as that. We successfully created our grid system. But now what we need to make this grid system responsive. So what if I change this viewport, and when I change this viewport, I want to change the space of all these columns. So let me show you how you can make all these columns responsive. So I'm going to just open the desktop viewport like this, and just out of that, in the grid system, I'm going to show you how you can make these columns responsive. Once we have all these columns, I need to first make these columns responsive. Without responsiveness of these columns, these are useless. So I'm going to just make all these columns responsive. Don't worry, you don't need to calculate anything now, because making these columns responsive is super easy. So you just need to copy all these columns and change its class name depending on the viewport. Let me show you. So I'm going to just copy all these 12 columns from 12 to 1. And you just need to paste this column inside this viewport, inside this 576 viewport. So I'm going to just paste all that column right here like this, and I'm going to just change these class names. So I'm going to just select this column. So I'm going to select this call class, and as you can notice, in VS Code you can create multiple cursor as well. So if you just select the call class and press Ctrl D, and if you just press Ctrl D, this will duplicate this cursor, right? So you have 2 cursors here. So I'm going to just duplicate this cursor like this and add 12 cursors to change these classes. So now as you can see, we have 12 cursor here. So I'm going to just specify dash here and say SM. Save all the changes. I want to change the space of this column when we have the viewport 576 pixel or greater than that. And I'm going to just say here SM. It means I want to specify this space only for the small devices. Now just after that, I'm going to do the same in this 768 pixel viewport as well. I'm going to copy all these columns from 1 to 12, paste it here and change its class name. So I'm going to just simply select this call, duplicate my cursor by pressing Ctrl D like this. I'm going to duplicate my cursor and just specify here column MD. So I'm going to use these classes for the medium size of devices. Now just after that, I'm going to just minimize it and just open the viewport 992 pixel. And right here, I'm going to do the same and just change its class name. So I'm going to just copy this call, duplicate my cursor by pressing Ctrl D, like this, and change this class name to column LG. So this column is useful for the large desktop viewport. And just after that, I'm going to do the same in this 1200 pixel viewport as well. I'm going to paste all that column here, change its class name. Select the column, duplicate the cursor like this, and change this class name to Excel. Now what I want to specify this class only if the viewport is equal to 1200 pixel or greater than that. So this class is useful for the extra large devices. Save all the changes, and let me just show you the demo of these responsive columns. So I'm going to just back to my index.html file. Now I'm going to just get rid of these few columns, and I'm going to just save all the changes, and now you can see we have 4 columns on the same row. To make these columns responsive, I'm going to use my media query classes. So I'm going to just simply say here call3 LG. I'm going to do the same for this class as well, LG. I'm going to add here as well, and I'm going to do that right here as well. Now what I'm going to do is, now if the viewport is for medium devices, I just want to change this column space. So I'm going to just simply say here in this first column, I'm going to say call for MD. I'm going to just specify right here as well, call for MD, and do the same for this third and the fourth column right here as well. Save all the changes. You are going to get some beautiful result. Now as you can see, when the viewport is for medium size of devices, you can notice we have 3 columns on the same line, and the next column is collapsed to the next line. As simple as that. Now what I wanted to make these columns responsive for the mobile device as well. So I'm going to just simply open my index.html file, and I'm going to just say here call 6 SM class to the first column. I'm going to do the same for the second column as well. Call 6 SM. I'm going to do the same for the fourth column as well, like this. Save all the changes, and now if the viewport is equal to the mobile devices, I want only 2 columns on the same row. When I decrease the viewport, you can notice, so now as you can see we have 2 columns on the same row. Now what if the viewport is less than that? So as you can notice, we have 4 columns on the same row. So we need to solve this problem as well. So I'm going to just open my grid system, and right here, up here, I'm going to just select call class, and along with that I want to specify this 100% width to all my classes which has call class to it. So I'm going to just add here a selector. So I'm going to just add here a bracket and say class. So I'm going to just select all the classes. So I'm going to specify asterisk here is equal to call. So I'm going to just select all that classes which has class call. Now if I just change the viewport, you can notice we have different layout to all these columns. Right? As simple as that. Now you can notice we just successfully created our own grid system. Now you can proudly say you can create your own grid system just like the Bootstrap. Now don't forget to practice with these columns, because we are going to use all these column classes to make the whole website. So I'm going to just back to my website and just add here a background color to see the navigation menu. So I'm going to say background dark, and just out of that I'm going to just add my navigation menu. So I'm going to just add here closing comments like this, and remove this demo division tag. Now we know that how you can create your own grid system. In the next lecture, I'm going to show you how you can make this navigation menu responsive. So I will see you in the next one.